Great pleasure to be in Amsterdam today. A slight correction, I'm actually from New Zealand, but that's an important difference for us Kiwis. It's a great pleasure to be in Amsterdam, my first time here. It's a wonderful city, I'm really enjoying myself here. I'd like to tell you today about our zinc project down in Peru. We made this discovery back in 2012, 2013, and basically been drilling it ever since, expanding the project quite significantly. Tinka is a single asset company. We're focusing 100% on advancing, expanding, and potentially ultimately developing this zinc discovery in Peru. And obviously, I'm hoping you'll learn something significant about the project and about the company today. We're about $100 million market cap, Canadian. We're listed actually on the TSXV. You can hear my accent, but clearly I spend a lot of the time on an airplane between Australia and South America, and also the North American markets. Peru undoubtedly is a major mining country. It's the second largest copper producer in the world, the second largest zinc producer in the world. I think it's the sixth largest gold producer in the world. A lot of big mines and a number of different commodities, and zinc is certainly one of those major commodities. We made our discovery. It's now, if you combine, it's 1.8 billion pounds in the indicated resource category and 5.6 billion pounds in the inferred category. That's really just a function of drill spacing. You add those together and you've got more than 7 billion pounds of zinc. There's still a lot of potential to expand this project, and it is in fact one of the largest undeveloped zinc projects in the world, certainly in a junior company. We're currently undertaking a preliminary economic assessment, or PEA. Those results will be out within the next few weeks. We're targeting the end of May, so quite soon. And also we're about to start drilling again. It's been a very wet season in central Peru this year, and we're about to start drilling again within the next 2 to 3 weeks, looking to expand the resources that we've got. We're in a pretty strong financial position. We've got good investors, institutional investors that have supported this company during what's been a pretty tough time in the exploration and resources sector in the last few years, as I'm sure everyone in this room would be aware of. Certainly Tinka has been one of the most active juniors in Peru in the last 3 or 4 years. We've got an excellent management team and a local team with a lot of experience and expertise in Peru. I'm a geologist. I call myself a Peruvian expert. I've really worked and lived there for more than half of my career, been involved with a number of discoveries with Rio Tinto, Pasmenco Savage and other companies. So I'm very familiar with Peru, and I have a wonderful team down there. Interestingly, zinc is at an important time. So the next few slides I'm going to show, just give a bit of flavour on where zinc is in terms of the markets, and just some basic questions, I suppose, on zinc. So what is zinc used for? It's predominantly used for the galvanization of steel. It prevents steel from rusting. So you get, it's basically a thin coating that you put on the top of steel to prevent rusting. So it's kind of a boring use, but it's very important clearly in an industrial world. There's also alloys, brass and bronze, for example. Obviously the uses for those have gone down over the years. Also in chemicals. There is a potential use also in battery metals. Zinc air batteries have been around for a long time, and they still show promise as potential alternatives for batteries as well in cars and what have you. But predominantly it's used as galvanization of steel. Now this is a pretty important slide. It's courtesy of Tech, so thank you to Tech for this. It's basically 20 years of supply, really shown by the various colours, and the price of zinc here shown in black. So you can see typically when there's drops or decreasings in the stocks and the zinc supply here, you get these spikes in price. So the last really big zinc spike was back in 2007, where the price of zinc hit around, say, $2, $2.50, whatever it was, $2.30 I think it was, for a few days there back in 2007. Now you notice the stocks built up a lot during the mid-2012, 2013 period. Look where we are now. On the LME, which is the blue here, we haven't seen such low zinc stocks for years and years. We're starting to see the zinc price move. Back here late last year, it topped out at at a high, kind of a 10-year high. We've since come down. Current zinc price is around $1.30 a pound, but meanwhile the zinc stocks continue to drop. So if you obviously project this forward, we think, and certainly I believe, that there is going to be a big zinc price run in the not too distant future. Exactly when, it's hard to predict, but it seems very likely it's going to occur based on fundamentals. The fact is that we've been using zinc, zinc mines are losing grade, running out of resources, and there's been very few new discoveries and developments in the zinc space for a long, long time. This is another slide courtesy of Teck. So this is the last 10 years of ore grades. You can see how, lo and behold, in mines, the zinc grades are starting to drop quite significantly. This is a projection going forward. Here we are in 2019. There's a predicted gap around 2021, 22. And that's around about the time, coincidentally, where we believe that this project will start coming into production, our Ayahuasca project in Peru. There's another slide courtesy of Teck. They define giant zinc deposits as plus 6 million tonnes of zinc plus lead. And here's where we are, just beneath that curve. So we're quite confident, in fact, over the next year or two or three or four, whenever, that these dots are going to jump over this line in terms of becoming a giant zinc deposit in terms of world-class size. And here we are, just to show you that this is a bunch of different development projects. Here we are. Here's our 2018 resource here at about 56 million tonnes combined at around 8% zinc equivalent. So it's already a significant deposit. Just a snapshot of who of the company. We're about as I mentioned, at 95, 100 million Canadian dollars. That's Canadian dollars. We've got about 250, 260 million shares issued and outstanding, trading around 35 cents currently. We do have some strong institutional investors, so very pleased to have those guys on board, and a growing list of research guys, analysts starting to cover us. So hopefully, and we expect that list to continue to expand as we go forward. I have a wonderful team of guys. We're a Peru-based company. I'm the only expat in the company. As I mentioned, I've spent more than half my career exploring and discovering deposits in Peru. Alvaro and Cesar are the two key guys down in Peru. Alvaro runs the technical team, and Cesar looks after the communities and the social license, which is also very important. Bear in mind that Tinka actually has been on this project for a number of years, and we have excellent relationships with the local communities. So I'm just going to show you a few maps now, highlighting where we are, and just show you a few diagrams of the project. So we're located in central Peru, north of Lima, about 200 kilometers in the Andes of Peru. This is the base metal center of Peru, where the vast majority of the zinc mines are. In fact, the northern part of Peru is typically where the large gold mines are, and the southern part of Peru is where the large copper deposits are. So this is a zoom in of that central Peru area, showing the roads and the infrastructure. Here we are, Ayahuasca, as I mentioned, about 200 kilometers north of Lima. It's on a public road, excellent infrastructure that goes right past the project. We have a number of other mines nearby. This is the who's who of zinc miners in Peru. As you can see, the nearest mine's about 20 kilometers to our west. Cerro Pasco historically is the largest zinc mine in Peru, currently owned by Vulcan. And Antamina, which is the current largest zinc and copper producer in Peru, is around 100 kilometers to our north. And this part of Peru actually saw very little exploration. Really before us, the main trend of the mines, I guess, was through here. And the zone and behind this main trend was a bit of a backwater. And as I mentioned, this is a grassroots discovery by Tinka. We have around 170 square kilometres of claims, so there's a lot of potential for more discoveries on our land. This is a simplistic geology map. Our current resource is shown by the blue and by the blue and black here. This is completely undercover, so this yellow rock, which is a flat-lying sandstone, hides the deposit. So it's a blind deposit, and it lies at around about 200 metres depth. Originally, we staked this land because of a known silver occurrence. So this is one of these situations where you have a known silver occurrence, and lo and behold, nearby in Peru, this is quite common. You can find base metals, either copper and in our instance, zinc. Just to show you a couple of cross sections here. Here we go. This is the sandstone which covers the deposit, and you can see there's no mineralisation at all that gets to the surface. And this is coloured by grade, essentially, so that anything in red is high grade and anything in green is kind of moderate grades. This is the area at South Ayawilca, and this is the area in Central Ayawilca, and this is the area in East Ayawilca. So just to give you an idea, we're about 200 metres below surface here, and most of the mineralisation is between 200 and 400 metres from surface. This will be an underground mine. It's too deep to an open pit. So the great advantage with underground mining in Peru is that you can use the topography to your advantage. We're at 4,000 metres elevation, which is fairly typical of this part of the world. So all you need to do is you go down the valley a little bit and put an adit straight in from the side of the hill. There's no need for declines from surface. This shows how we've increased our resources between 2015 and 2019, or 2018 was the last resource that we put out. We drilled around 60,000 metres of drilling in the last 4 years, so we've been very busy. I'm not going to focus too much on that. This is our base case resource. So on this side is the indicated zinc resources as they stand. So we've got 11.7 million tonnes at around 8% zinc equivalent, and this is our inferred resources of 45 million tonnes at 6.7% zinc equivalent. Again, it's a question really of drill spacing, and we expect to this year to convert a lot more inferred resources to indicated resources. And just to show you, if we go at a higher cutoff, obviously the grades pick up. So if we use an $80 cutoff, the zinc grade jumps to around 10%. So we do have the optionality around grade. We do actually think the grades we have are already sufficiently good. Again, another map in terms of our exploration program for this year. One of the areas where we're wide open is this zone out here to the east. So we're going to be drilling some holes out over here to the east. We're going to be drilling some holes up here to the north, where we're still open in this part of the world. And also, we're open at depth. So we're going to be drilling some deep holes underneath West and South Ayawilca, which is the highest grade parts of the deposit. So we're going to be doing some deep holes in this part of the world, starting off in the next few weeks. And again, this is kind of highlighting some of those deep targets. We've just recently recognised limestone. So the mineralisation is hosted by the limestone, this blue rock here. And just recently we recognised, or late last year, we recognised that there was repetitions of this limestone at depth beneath the resource. So we're going to be drilling some deeper holes down in this part of the world, testing for that mineralisation, and also over here. So in terms of where we're at, here we are in 2019. We've got the PEA coming out very soon. We're going to continue to drill and expand the resource this year. We're fully funded for this year's program, so expect lots of news. And then into next year, we've got a decision post-PEA, subject to how the drilling goes. If the drilling's going well, we'd like to continue to expand the resource, or the alternative is to actually go into a pre-feasibility stage. And then, of course, moving the project forward, production potentially in 2022, 23, and that kind of area. In terms of the communities, we have fantastic relationships with these communities in central Peru. We actually have 3 communities who own land in and around our project. We've had no problems at all. We work closely with them. We have social engagement, development programs with these guys. We also employ a lot of people to build our drill pads, our drill roads, look after our camp security, so on and so forth. So we actually are one of the largest, in fact, we would be the largest employer in this part of central Peru. You know, they're very much supportive of us, and we're supportive of them, so we're looking for very much a win-win situation. And the IFC, who actually are one of our investors, they've been an investor of Tinka since 2015. They own around 12% of us. They have provided excellent guidance for us, just in terms of the social interactions and how we move with the communities going forward. What I hadn't mentioned to date is the tin. We actually have a tin resource immediately underneath the zinc. So the current tin resource here is around 15 million tonnes, 14.5 million tonnes at 0.7% tin equivalent. It's actually physically separate from the zinc. And at the moment, we're not focusing on this, but we do believe that there's a lot more potential to actually have a tin mine here at some point down the road, as well as zinc. As I mentioned, it's physically separate from the zinc, so you can mine them actually completely independently. So I guess why Tinka? That's really, in a nutshell, we think we're in an interesting time, a very interesting time in terms of zinc, the zinc markets. We're predicting that there is going to be a strong run in zinc in the very near term, so look out for that. Obviously, I can't say exactly when that's going to happen, but is it going to happen? Yes, it absolutely is. This is, without question, one of the largest zinc resources in the world, certainly in a junior. We believe this is going to be a mine in the not too distant future. We own the project 100%. The company's got no debt. The company's fully funded for this year's programs. There's going to be a lot of news flow coming out, so please take a look. Keep an eye on us, Tinka Resources. We're listed on the Toronto Venture Exchange. Believe we have a listing in Frankfurt. In fact, I'm certain that we do. Yeah, I'm obviously going to be down here later on. If anyone wants to come and ask questions, or I can go through more detail about the projects, please come and see me. It's a pleasure to be here today in Amsterdam. Thank you very much for your time.